Well, now we take a look at the colourful film career of Jack Lemmon.
What really drove me is the same thing that drives me today, and that is passion. A passion for acting. I love it. And if I had not succeeded in making a living as an actor, God knows where I would be. I mean, out in the street or so. I was ill-prepared in my mind to do anything else, and never wanted to do anything else. I did hundreds of shows. I must have done 400 to 500 at least, altogether in a period of about 5 or 6 years. Sometimes 20 lines or 10 lines, and sometimes the lead the next week. You never knew. Musicals, dramas, comedies. Along came a revival of Room Service, which was a famous old war horse, very funny play, and I got the lead in it. Fortunately, I got good reviews in this, and a man named Max Arno at Columbia Films had the New York office check me out in the play, and they all agreed that I should be tested to play opposite Judy Holliday.
And he came in, and he bounced all over the room. He was full of personality. And Judy said when he left, she said, "I don't think so. I don't think he'll do." And we said, "Why not?" She said, "Well, he's much too young for me." And we said, "Well, we'll keep thinking." And then Ruth took charge, and she spoke very, very seriously. And she said, "Now listen, you've just made it. You've made good. Don't stand in anybody else's way. Now you have the authority. Now you're important. Give someone else a chance." And she convinced Judy, and he wound up with the part.
Like you remember my name?
Sure.
What?
Yes, sir.
Well, do me a favor and forget it. So is it still on for Friday lunch?
Certainly.
Thank you very much.
Don't mention.
The first 2 weeks that Judy and I were doing our scenes, George would continually, at the end of a take with the camera, he would say, "Cut. Wonderful, wonderful. That was absolutely wonderful." He says, "Well, you're going to print that, but just one more. Let's do just one more. Jack, less, a little less, less." And Judy and I went through about the third take, top to bottom, along about 2.5 to 3 pages in one, and we knew that we had really kicked the bejesus out of that one. And George, sure enough, said, "Cut," and he said, "Wonderful." And he gave Judy a kiss, and then he turned to me, he said, "Jack, just one more, less, just a little less." And which was uncustomary of me, because I never blow up at a director. I couldn't help it. I said, "Are you trying to tell me not to act at all?" And he said, "Oh, yes, God, yes. Oh, God, yes." It was the best piece of direction I ever got.
At Columbia, when he arrived here to co-star in his first picture opposite Judy Holliday, he was the gifted young actor that everybody had hopes would become a movie star. His third picture was Mr. Roberts, and right off the bat he won an Academy Award as Best Supporting Actor.
And to be able to get that part in a production like that in just your third film is incredible. When I did my very first test for the Judy Holliday film, they also tested me for a film that John Ford was about to start at Columbia called The Long Gray Line. But Ford told Harry Cohen, "Look, I don't want an unknown kid trying to play this part." And one day I walked into the studio just to see what was going on, and I thought I'd drop in on the set and see the great Ford. I walked on, and this old guy who had a patch on an eye and a cap pulled down over his head, and he was chewing on a handkerchief. I thought he was one of the grips. He came over and he said, "Are you that kid Lemmon?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Someone told me you wanted to play Pulver." I said I would die for it. And he said, you really want to play it, huh? I said, yeah. And he said, well, spit in your hand. I said, what? He said, it's an Irish custom, spit in your hand. And he went, and tokingly sort of spit in his hand, so I went. And he shook my hand, and he said, you're Pulver, and I'm Ford. And I damn near fainted.
They flew in last night. Knockouts, and one big blonde especially. See, of course, she went for me right away, naturally. So I started to turn on the old personality, you know, and I said, isn't there anything in the world that'll make you come out to this ship with me? And she says, yes. She said, yes, there is one thing and one thing only.
I saw something last night that just about knocked me out.
And I finally got to meet the great trio of Hank Fonda and Jimmy Cagney and Bill Powell. I was just flabbergasted that I was going to work with these three people. They were all wonderful to me.
Powder? This ain't no pop gun, it's a firecracker. I used fulminate of mercury. I'll be back in a minute.
It was probably close to the second week of working with Billy before I realized that one of two things was going on. Either I was in something that was going to be a complete failure, or I was in something that could be a classic.
Not since the Marx Brothers, so much comedy. Not since the 7-Year Itch, so much Maryland.
Good night, sugar.
I knew how good the script was, but whether people would rebel against it, in other words, Billy's taste detector, as long as it was just pushing the envelope but not busting it, we'd be all right.
You stay here as long as you like.
Joey Brown and Jack Lemmon as a woman. They went to a nightclub and they are dancing a tango together. Now, when Curtis, as the millionaire, says goodbye to Marilyn Monroe and climbs up to the second or third floor there, as he comes into the room, there is Jack Lemmon lying on the bed and with his maracas in his hands. And then starts a scene which has got like 20 big laughs.
Have I got things to tell you? What happened? I'm engaged. Congratulations. Who's the lucky girl? I am.
Now, we were very much afraid that the audience is going to laugh over many straight lines, and we're going to lose like 5 or 6 big jokes. So the idea was we gave him a pair of maracas, and after the joke, he will go rum pum 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 ba da da rum pa.
What? Osgood proposed to me. We're planning a June wedding.
By cutting back and forth, we could manipulate the thing that we knew exactly how long this laugh is going to last and how short this is going to last.
Joe, this may be my last chance to marry a millionaire.